On Sunday, President Biden authorized Ukraine to use long-range missiles. On Monday, the whole world is informed. On Tuesday, Ukraine launches 6 missiles deep into Russian territory. On Wednesday, President Putin lowered the threshold for using nuclear weapons. On Thursday, Russia launches a hypersonic medium-range ballistic missile able to carry warheads.
Ballistic missiles can be short-range, stay within the Earth's atmosphere, medium-range, up to 200 miles, and long-range or intercontinental, capable of full orbital flight outside the Earth's atmosphere. They can be fitted with both conventional and nuclear warheads.
In less than 1 week, the world has progressed and moved towards a danger zone that would make your head spin. We are at the precipice of something we all feared for decades, a global nuclear
This
war.
video, posted by Ukrainian military bloggers, purports to show multiple projectiles landing on the Ukrainian city of Dnipro just before dawn. That's what you'd expect from a ballistic missile, the release of many payloads as it approaches its target.
This major shift in the conflict raises one crucial question. Why did Biden wait until there's 2 months left in his administration to authorize this? If the goal was to help Ukraine, why haven't they done it sooner? Can you imagine if Ukraine had access to these missiles early on, like 1,000 days ago? It would have been a game changer. Instead of giving Ukraine the tools it needed at the beginning of the war, the West waited and prolonged this conflict. The West has allowed this conflict to drag on, costing thousands of lives and devastating entire cities. Did they just realize now that at the heart of all of this is human suffering? You can't just help but wonder, is this less about saving Ukraine, but more about US domestic policies? Were the Democrats overly confident that Kamala Harris would win the next election and continue Biden's policies? Is this an attempt to sabotage Trump's presidency by handing him a volatile international crisis? Or is this simply a last-ditch effort by the Biden administration to secure a more foreign policy legacy? Whatever the reasons are, it is hard to ignore the timing of all of this. Russia is not going to back down, and it has essentially declared that it is ready to take the war onto the next level.
Это будет означать, что страны НАТО, США, европейские страны воюют с Россией.
You are now tuned into the Mady Cisse podcast, and I'm your host, Mady Cisse. Buckle up, and let's get into it right after this. For the first time in the war, Ukraine has used long-range missiles issued by the US. And as we have learned, the UK and France have also authorized the use of long-range missiles deep into Russian territory, which signaled a major change in the war. This marked a turning point because until now, most of the fighting has been contained to Ukraine's soil or areas close to the border. Let me break this down for you. Under this new doctrine, Russia has now lowered its threshold for using nuclear weapons if attacked, even with regular bombs or missiles.
In response to the use of American and British long-range weapons, on the 21st of November, the Russian armed forces carried out a combined strike on one of Ukraine's military-industrial complex sites. In combat conditions, a test was carried out on one of the latest Russian intermediate-range missile systems.
This isn't just about rhetoric. Putin has now signed this into law, and Russia is now producing nuclear-resistant bomb shelters, preparing for the worst. The fact that nuclear threats are becoming a central part of this war shows just how dangerous this situation has become. And there's this ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles, that Russia has reportedly moved into position. These are massive rockets that can carry nuclear warheads across continents. If one of these is launched, the devastation could be global. While missiles and nuclear threats dominates the headlines, there's also the shadow war happening below the surface, according to many mainstream media. Russia is being accused with the help of China of sabotaging critical communication cables in the Baltic Sea, cables that connect countries like Finland, Lithuania, and Germany. These cables are essential for internet and military communications, and their disruption adds another layer of complexity to this already volatile situation. What's even more concerning is the presence of a Chinese ship in the area at the time, hinting at deeper alliance and covert strategies. We will say allegedly, because back in September 2022, Russia was accused of sabotaging the Nord Stream pipelines. And as it came out, this was the job of some Ukrainian mercenaries.
The new report says Ukraine blew up the pipelines and that everyone in Kiev was on board, including the country's president, Volodymyr Zelensky. In fact, he's the one who gave the go-ahead.
This was considered the most serious attack on Germany's energy supply since World War II. And for over a year, this narrative was pushed by the mainstream media, which is why it's very hard to trust what you hear on the news nowadays. Now let's talk about NATO. If the West truly wanted to protect Ukraine, why wasn't Ukraine's application to join NATO expedited? Membership would have provided Ukraine with collective defensive guarantees, possibly preventing this invasion altogether. Instead, the West has dragged its feet, leaving Ukraine to face Russia alone. This delay, combined with the late authorization of advanced weapons, suggests that Ukraine's suffering may have been a calculated part of a larger geopolitical strategy. So why now? Why would Biden authorize these strikes just 2 months before leaving office? This brings us into this harsh reality. Ukraine has now been turned into a battleground for geopolitical gains, used as a pawn in a game that's prioritized strategy over humanity. This isn't just about Ukraine and Russia anymore. We are witnessing the creation of a Cold War that could spill into a nuclear war. The stakes are even higher, with nuclear threats and real conflict on the table. It is hard not to wonder how many lives could have been saved if the West had acted sooner or differently. Here's where we are. 2 months before Biden leaves office, we are facing a conflict that's spiraling dangerously out of control. The decision being made now, whether for political reasons or strategic posturing, will have consequences far beyond Ukraine. This isn't just about geopolitics, it's about humanity. And the question we need to ask is, are these decisions really helping, or are they prolonging the suffering for the sake of power and profit? Cause and effect. It's all about cause and effect. If this conversation resonated with you, please share and subscribe for more deep dives into the issues shaping our world. Thank you for joining today's podcast. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and let's keep the conversation going. Peace.